First time haunt, this one was called the Scare House. Scare House, and it was in like a public recreation center. It was first time we've ever been there. It was only operating one night this year. What'd you think, Laura?
Well, I mean, for a first time haunt, one night, I mean, obviously, I mean, they probably didn't have, for one night, I mean, they're not going to, do the set design like a lot of these other big pay haunts that are open, for a month. But as far as this goes, it's more geared towards children, I would say. It's yes, it was at night, and there were some good characters in it, and the actors were good. I mean, they had this effect where the guy came out and he had like a heart, so when he acted like he pulled out my heart and he had it in his hand. That was kind of cool. And there was a guy with a chainsaw that was just kind of standing there like, trying to be scary. But I know when we went in there were a lot of kids there, probably about like 10 years old or so, and maybe 8 to 10. And, to me, that haunt is actually geared more towards kids. It's not something like a scare factor for adults. It wasn't really long. I mean, something that, it wasn't expensive either. I think it was $5. So, I mean, it wasn't expensive. We were out there, so we did it. But definitely geared towards kids. I mean, it's definitely a haunted house for them. So I'd probably give it about, just as an adult, I'd give it about maybe a 2.5, maybe. Just because it's not really geared towards adults. It's more, I'd say, for kids.
Yeah, I have to say the Scare House, it was only there one night. I certainly wouldn't go out of my way to do it again. As Laura said, I think it was geared towards kids, although they don't market it that way. So I'm not really sure. It started out somewhat promising. It had some nice display in the front, and they had a guide lead you through, but it just seemed like no one was really into what they were doing in the haunt itself. There were people that would jump out at you, but not enthusiastically, and I don't really know. We were with several adults in our group, so I'm not really sure if it was necessarily because there were kids there or not. It just seemed a bit uninspired, if I had to put a word on it. So uninspired. Maybe that's just the way it is. I know that a lot of kids outside were actually scared, so maybe we were missing something. So I'm going to give it a 2.5. 2.5. It was a one-night-only haunt for an hour and a half. Very unusual, but since we were in the area, we decided to check it out. And the question is, why was it only open one night? Michael, do you have the answer to that?
Yes. In this rare case, this haunt gets one flaccid chainsaw. It's literally open and closed on the same night, which is very appropriate for this haunt. It should be free and not worth the $5 entry. Very short. It is like Ed Wood put this thing together. If you want scares for $5, then go rent a horror movie.